A Guide to Living with Intention. Have you ever reached the end of a week, looked back, and realized you can hardly remember a single specific detail? The days just sort of blended into a gray soup of commute, work, scroll, eat, sleep, and repeat. It is a haunting feeling, realizing that while you were physically present, you weren't really there. We all fall into this trap. It is the default mode of modern existence, the autopilot. Living with intention is the antidote to the autopilot. But before we dive in, let's clear up a massive misconception. Living with intention does not mean you have to wake up at 4 a.m., drink a kale smoothie, meditate for an hour, and have every minute of your day color-coded in a planner. That isn't intention. That is just high-functioning anxiety. True intention is much friendlier, much softer, and significantly more powerful. It is simply the act of taking the steering wheel of your life back from the algorithms, the expectations of others, and your own habits. It is the subtle shift from things happening to you happening to your life. The first step in this journey is what we might call the pause. Most of us live in a reactive state. The phone buzzes, so we look. Someone asks a favor, so we say yes. We feel hungry, so we grab the nearest snack. There is no gap between the stimulus and our response. Living intentionally requires inserting a tiny, microscopic wedge of space between the world's demands and your actions. Start small, incredibly small. Tomorrow morning, when you pour your coffee or tea, don't scroll through social media while you do it. Just pour the coffee. Smell it. Feel the warmth of the mug. Ask yourself, how do I want to feel today? This takes 30 seconds, but it signals to your brain that you are in charge, not your notifications. This is the bedrock of intention, waking up to the mundane moments. Once you master the pause, you have to confront the uncomfortable truth about yes and no. You cannot live an intentional life if you are trying to live everyone else's life too. We often say yes to things, dinners we don't want to attend, projects we don't have the bandwidth for, because we are operating on a script of politeness. Intention requires editing. Think of your energy like a bank account with a strict daily withdrawal limit. If you spend it all on things that don't align with your values, you will be bankrupt by the time you get to the things that matter. This leads us to the concept of values alignment. This sounds like corporate speak, but it is actually deeply personal. If you say you value health, but you haven't moved your body in 3 weeks because you're too busy, there is a misalignment. If you say you value connection, but you spend dinner looking at your screen, there is a disconnect. Living intentionally means being honest about these gaps. It isn't about beating yourself up, it's about noticing. Oh, look at that. I say I value creativity, but I've spent 3 hours watching TV. Let me gently pivot. That word gently is key. The enemy of intention is perfectionism. If you decide to live intentionally, you will fail. You will have days where you rot on the sofa, eat junk food, and snap at your friends. That is part of being human. The unintentional person spirals into guilt and gives up. The intentional person notices the slip, forgives themselves immediately, and simply reset. You are never more than one breath away from a fresh start. You don't have to wait for New Year's or Monday morning. You can restart at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. Another massive component of this lifestyle is curating your inputs. We tend to obsess over what we eat, but we consume information and energy just as voraciously as we consume food. If you are constantly consuming content that makes you feel inadequate, fearful, or angry, you cannot live with positive intention. Your output depends on your input. Be ruthless about who you follow, what you watch, and who you spend your time with. Protect your headspace as if it were a sacred garden, because it is. Finally, living with intention creates a ripple effect. When you slow down, look people in the eye, and listen to them because you chose to be in that conversation, people feel it. You become a safe harbor in a chaotic world. Your relationships deepen because you aren't just physically there, you are energetically present. So don't try to overhaul your entire life overnight. Just pick one thing. Maybe it's how you start your morning. Maybe it's deciding to be fully present when you play with your kids or walk your dog. Maybe it's choosing to create something rather than consume something. This is your life. It is the only one you get. Don't let it happen by accident. Grab the pen and write the story yourself. One sentence, one breath, one intentional moment at a time. If this conversation sparked a little light in your mind, let's keep it burning. I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below sharing one tiny intentional change you are going to make this week. I read through them and love seeing the community grow. And if you want to join us for more deep dives into living a better, more awake life, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. It really helps us find more people just like you who are ready to wake up.